The Wedding That Almost Wasn't, Chapter 1. One Shoe and a Wedding Dress. Claire Montgomery was halfway through balancing invoices when the front door of Silver Pine Inn burst open. A blast of cold air swept through the lobby. Snow swirled across the floor, and standing in the doorway was a bride. For several seconds nobody moved. The woman wore a white wedding dress, her hair was pinned up, her makeup was slightly smeared, and she was missing one shoe. Claire blinked. The bride blinked back. Then the bride said the last thing Claire expected. "Please tell me you have a room." Claire closed the invoice folder. "I do." The woman nodded once. "Good." Then she promptly burst into tears. 10 minutes later, the bride sat beside the fireplace wrapped in a blanket. A mug of hot chocolate rested in her hands. Emily Chen sat nearby, pretending not to stare. She was failing. Spectacularly. Finally, Emily leaned toward Claire and whispered, "Is that a wedding dress?" Claire whispered back. "Yes." "Did she get married?" "I don't think so." "Interesting." "Hush." The bride looked up. "My name is Anna." Claire smiled. "I'm Claire." Anna glanced at the fire. For a moment she seemed embarrassed. "I'm sorry about the dramatic entrance." Emily immediately shook her head. No, if you're going to arrive at an inn, that's the way to do it." Claire gave her a look. Emily shrugged. "What? It is." To Anna's surprise, she laughed, just a little. But it was the first sign that she might survive the day. An hour later, the snowstorm intensified outside. The windows rattled softly in the wind. Anna sat in the same chair, staring into the fire. Claire joined her. "You don't have to tell me anything." Anna nodded. "Thank you." Claire waited. After a moment, Anna sighed. "But I probably should." She looked down at the engagement ring still sitting on her finger. Then she slowly removed it. Claire said nothing. Anna rolled the ring between her fingers. "I was supposed to get married today." Claire nodded. "I guessed." Anna laughed weakly. "The dress gave it away." "A little." The laugh faded. For a long moment Anna stared at the ring. Then she whispered, "I found out my fiancé was cheating on me." The words hung in the air, raw, painful, real. Claire's heart sank. "Oh, Anna." She shook her head. "The worst part is I almost went through with it." Claire looked at her. "What stopped you?" Anna swallowed hard. "My little sister." The answer surprised her. Anna smiled sadly. "She showed me messages she'd found." Claire glanced toward the fire. "And then?" Anna laughed once. Still no humor. "I left." "You left?" Anna nodded. "In the middle of getting ready." Claire stared. Anna shrugged. "I got in my car. Drove away. Lost a shoe somewhere." That finally earned a genuine laugh from Claire. Anna smiled despite herself. "Honestly, the shoe feels like the least important part." That evening, Claire walked Anna down the lantern path toward one of the guest cabins. Snow drifted gently through the trees. The inn glowed warmly behind them. Anna pulled her coat tighter. "I don't even know why I came here." Claire smiled. "Sometimes people don't know where they're going. They just know where they can't stay." Anna considered that, because it felt true. The church, the reception hall, the life she'd been planning. She couldn't stay there. Not anymore. Claire stopped in front of a small cabin and handed her a key. The brass tag read, "Cabin 4." Anna looked at it, then back at Claire. "What happens now?" Claire smiled softly. "You get some sleep. And tomorrow?" "Tomorrow. We'll figure out tomorrow." For the first time all day, that sounded possible. Anna unlocked the door and stepped inside. A fire crackled in the fireplace. A Christmas tree glowed near the window. Everything felt warm, safe, quiet. She set the ring on the table, then looked out at the falling snow. 24 hours ago she thought she knew exactly how her future would look. Now she had no idea. And somehow, For the first time all day, that didn't feel terrifying. It felt like freedom. Chapter 2. The Bride. Who ran Anna slept better than she expected. Not well, not peacefully, but better. When she woke the next morning, it took a few seconds to remember where she was. Then she saw the wedding dress hanging from the closet door. Reality returned immediately. The cancelled wedding, the cheating fiancé, the life she had driven away from. Anna groaned and buried her face in a pillow. Unfortunately, reality remained. By the time she reached the main inn, the smell of breakfast filled the air. Coffee, bacon, fresh cinnamon rolls. For a brief moment, Anna considered moving into the kitchen permanently. Emily spotted her first. "She's alive." Several guests looked up. Anna immediately regretted leaving the cabin. Emily waved her over. "Come sit." Anna sat. A plate of pancakes appeared in front of her. "I didn't order this." Emily shrugged. "Nobody does." Across the room, Hank lowered his newspaper. "The cook has trust issues." "I heard that." "Good." Anna couldn't help smiling. The easy rhythm between them felt comforting, like stepping into a conversation that had already been happening for years. Claire arrived carrying coffee. "How are you feeling?" Anna considered lying, then decided she was too tired. "Like I got hit by a wedding." Emily pointed with her fork. "That's the correct answer." For a while they talked about harmless things, the weather, the snow, the best local hiking trails. Eventually, though, Anna knew the question was coming. She just didn't expect it from Hank. The older man folded his newspaper. "So, what was his name?" Anna blinked. "My what?" "The idiot." Emily nearly choked on her coffee. Claire closed her eyes. "Hank." "What?" He looked genuinely confused. "It's an important detail." To Anna's surprise, she laughed. A real laugh. The first one she'd had in days. "His name was Trevor." Hank nodded. "Terrible name." "It is not. It is now." Even Claire smiled. A little later, the laughter faded. Anna stared into her coffee. "I should have seen it." Claire looked at her. "Seen what?" "The signs." Anna shook her head. There were always excuses. Working late, phone calls, business trips, things that felt wrong but never quite wrong enough. "I kept telling myself everything was fine." Nobody interrupted. Nobody rushed to make her feel better. That was something Anna was beginning to appreciate about Silver Pine. People listened. "I think I spent more time trying to have the perfect wedding than asking whether I should marry him." The words surprised even her, because they were true. The silence that followed wasn't uncomfortable, it was thoughtful. Finally Claire spoke. "You're not the first person to confuse the life they planned with the life they wanted." Anna looked up. The sentence landed somewhere deep. After breakfast, Anna wandered through the lobby. Snow fell softly outside. Guests read books near the fireplace. A couple played cards near the window. Everything felt calm, steady. The opposite of her life. Claire found her standing near the front desk. "You don't have to leave today." Anna looked surprised. "What?" Claire smiled. "Your room is available." Anna hesitated. "I don't even know what I'm doing next." "Then maybe don't decide today." That sounded suspiciously reasonable. Anna hated reasonable, mostly because it was usually right. Claire handed her a brochure. Local attractions, winter activities, town events, normal things, the kind of things normal people did. Anna stared at it, then laughed. "What?" Claire smiled. "It's the first time you've smiled at something that wasn't a cinnamon roll." That afternoon, Anna took a walk through the snow-covered property. The cold air felt good, refreshing. For the first time in weeks, nobody was asking about flowers, or seating charts, or wedding colours. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She didn't need to look. Trevor. Again. She silenced it. Again. Then kept walking. Ahead, She spotted a small cabin near the edge of the property. A man stood on a ladder repairing part of the porch roof. He glanced down. She glanced up. For a moment, neither spoke. Then the man pointed toward a sign leaning against the cabin. Caution, falling snow. Anna looked at the roof, then back at him. You're warning me after I walked underneath it? The man smiled. Seemed more dramatic this way. Anna rolled her eyes, but despite herself, she smiled. The man climbed down from the ladder. Good. You can still do that. What? Smile. Anna blinked. The stranger extended a hand. I'm Luke. For reasons she couldn't explain, her heart skipped once. Just once. And that was more than enough to make her nervous. Chapter 3. Luke Thompson. Anna immediately decided she didn't like Luke Thompson. This decision lasted approximately 3 minutes, maybe 4. Luke brushed snow from his gloves and nodded toward the caution sign, leaning against the cabin. In my defense, I put the sign up before you got here. In my defense, your sign is facing the wrong direction. Luke turned and looked. The sign was, in fact, facing the woods. He stared at it for a moment. Well, Anna crossed her arms, not exactly reassuring. No, he smiled, but it does explain some things. To her annoyance, Anna laughed. Luke climbed down from the ladder and grabbed a tool bag. Up close, he looked to be in his mid-30s, tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair, the kind of man who seemed completely comfortable outdoors, which made sense, considering he was currently standing on a roof in December. You work here? Anna asked. Sometimes. That wasn't an answer. Luke seemed to know it. I'm a contractor. Ah. Claire calls when something breaks. Anna glanced at the roof. And things break often. It's an old inn. He shrugged. Plus, Hank believes maintenance schedules are a government conspiracy. Anna smiled. I've only been here a day, and I believe that. Smart woman. For a few moments they stood together watching snow drift through the trees. It wasn't awkward, which felt strange. Almost every conversation Anna had endured during the past year had been about the wedding. The venue, the flowers, the guest list. Everything had felt like a project. This didn't. Finally, Luke nodded toward the main lodge. You're the bride, Anna groaned. Is it that obvious? The dress yesterday helped. She covered her face. I knew it. Luke laughed. The entire inn knows. Wonderful. The good news is nobody's judging you. Anna lowered her hands. How do you know? Because everybody here loves a dramatic story. She couldn't argue with that. They started walking toward the lodge together. Snow crunched beneath their boots. So, Luke said, what happened? Anna looked at him. The question should have bothered her. Oddly, it didn't. Maybe because he asked like he was curious, not nosy. My fiancé cheated. Luke nodded once, no dramatic reaction, no exaggerated sympathy, just understanding. That'll do it, Anna laughed. That's your response? Seems like a deal breaker. Fair. Luke shoved his hands into his jacket pockets. At least you found out before the wedding. The statement was simple, obvious even, yet it struck her harder than expected, because deep down she knew he was right. She had spent so much time mourning what she'd lost that she hadn't considered what she'd avoided. Back inside the inn, Emily immediately spotted them. Her eyes widened. Oh! Anna froze. Luke sighed. What? Emily pointed between them. You two know each other now. We spoke for 10 minutes. That's how it starts. Claire appeared from behind the front desk. What starts? Emily grinned. A story. Anna buried her face in her hands. Luke looked toward the ceiling. Can I go back to the roof? No, Emily said. It's too late. You're involved now. Even Claire laughed. Later that afternoon, Anna found herself sitting near the fireplace with a book she hadn't actually read a single page of. Her thoughts kept drifting. To Trevor. To the wedding. to the future, to Luke. That last one annoyed her a lot. She'd been single for less than 48 hours. The last thing she needed was another man occupying space in her head. Unfortunately, her brain had not been consulted. The chair across from her shifted. Luke sat down, holding 2 mugs. Anna eyed them suspiciously. "What are those?" "Hot chocolate. You poisoned them." "I considered it." He handed her one. She accepted, mostly because it smelled amazing. Luke leaned back in his chair. For a while neither spoke. The fire crackled softly. Guests chatted nearby. Outside, snow continued falling. Finally Anna sighed. "You know what scares me?" Luke glanced over. "What?" "I have no idea what comes next." The admission felt bigger than she expected. Luke stared into his mug, then nodded. "Yeah." Anna frowned. "Yeah?" "Yeah." She looked at him. "That's not helpful." Luke smiled. "No." "Then why say it?" His expression softened. "Because I know the feeling." For a moment something changed. Not dramatically, not romantically, just honestly, like 2 people recognizing something familiar in each other. Anna looked down at her hot chocolate. For the first time since arriving at Silver Pine Inn, she realized she wasn't thinking about the wedding anymore. She was thinking about what came after it, and somehow that felt like progress. Chapter 4. The Wrong Kind of Perfect. The next morning, Anna found Luke exactly where she expected him, on a ladder, in the snow, doing something that looked unnecessarily dangerous. "You know they make ladders for indoors too, right?" she called. Luke looked down and smiled. "They're much less exciting." Anna shook her head. "That's a terrible answer." "It's the only one I've got." To her surprise, she stayed. An hour later, they sat on the porch of the main lodge drinking coffee while snow drifted through the pines. For the first time since arriving at Silver Pine, Anna found herself talking about Trevor, without feeling angry, mostly tired. He was perfect. Luke nearly choked on his coffee. "That sounds ominous." "It should." Anna smiled. "He said all the right things, wore all the right clothes, knew exactly what everyone wanted him to be." Luke nodded. "And?" Anna stared out at the trees. "I spent so much time trying to build the perfect life that I never noticed how unhappy I was." The words surprised her, because she'd never said them out loud before. Luke was quiet for a moment, then he laughed softly. "What?" "I had the opposite problem." Anna looked over. "What does that mean?" Luke leaned back in his chair. "My fiancé left because I wasn't perfect enough." Anna blinked. "You were engaged?" "Long time ago." That caught her attention. Luke didn't seem like someone who talked about himself much. "What happened?" He stared at the snow. "She wanted a different life." Anna waited. "A bigger city, more money, different plans." "And you?" Luke smiled. "I liked the plans I already had." The answer sounded simple, but Anna could hear the hurt underneath it. Sometimes disappointment aged into acceptance. That didn't mean it disappeared. For a while they sat quietly, neither trying to fix the other, neither pretending life had been fair. It was surprisingly comfortable. Finally Anna laughed. "You know what's funny?" Luke looked over. "What?" "If someone had told me a week ago I'd be discussing failed engagements with a guy who repairs roofs, I would have thought they were crazy." Luke pointed toward the cabins. "I do much more than roofs." "My apologies." "Thank you." That evening a snowstorm rolled into the mountains. By sunset, wind rattled the windows of Silver Pine Inn. Guests gathered near the fireplace. Board games appeared. Hot chocolate appeared. Somehow, Emily had produced 3 different pies. Nobody asked questions. Daniel and Lily sat near the Christmas tree. Sarah read a book, while Lily showed Jasper the bear to anyone willing to listen. The inn felt warm. alive, like a family reunion where nobody was related. Anna found herself smiling more than she had in months. Luke sat beside her on a sofa near the fire. At one point, their shoulders brushed. Neither moved away, neither mentioned it. Outside, snow piled against the windows. Inside, laughter filled the room. Claire walked past carrying blankets. "Looks like everyone's staying put tonight." Luke glanced outside. Roads closed. A cheer went up from Lily. Emily pointed. "Only child in America excited about being snowed in." "I'm not the only one," Lily argued. Sarah raised her hand. "I'm pretty excited." That earned another cheer. Anna laughed. The sound felt natural now. Not forced, not borrowed. Hers. A strange thought crossed her mind. A week ago, she'd been planning a wedding. Tonight, she was snowed in at a mountain inn playing cards with strangers. And somehow, this felt more like her life than the wedding ever had. Across the room, Luke caught her looking at him. He smiled. Anna smiled back. The moment lasted only a second, but it was enough. Enough to make her wonder, enough to make her hope. And that was far more dangerous. Chapter 5. Snowed in by morning, the storm had buried Silver Pine Inn beneath nearly a foot of snow. Lily declared it the greatest day of her life. Nobody had the heart to disagree. The roads remained closed, which meant every guest was stuck at the inn for at least another day. Oddly, nobody seemed upset about it, especially Emily. "This is excellent for business," she announced while carrying a tray of cinnamon rolls. Claire looked up from the front desk. "How?" Emily shrugged. "People eat more when they're snowed in." Hank lowered his newspaper. "That's not a business plan. It's a lifestyle." Most of the guests gathered in the lobby. Some played board games, others read near the fire. A few simply watched the snow fall beyond the windows. Anna sat on a sofa with Luke across from her. They'd spent enough time together over the past few days. That conversation came easily now, dangerously easily. Luke pointed toward a chessboard on a nearby table. "You play?" Anna laughed. "Terribly." "Perfect." "What does that mean?" "It means I have a chance." "You just admitted you're bad at chess." "I am." "Then why challenge me?" Luke grinned. "Confidence." Anna shook her head. "You are impossible. Yet here you are." To her annoyance, he had a point. An hour later, Anna was losing badly. "That horse thing is cheating. It's called a knight. It moves weird." Luke laughed. "That's the entire point." Across the room, Daniel watched with amusement. Sarah sat beside him reading. Lily built a blanket fort for Jasper. The inn felt warm, comfortable, safe, the kind of place where people forgot to be lonely. And for the first time in months, Anna realized she wasn't lonely. Not here. The front door suddenly opened. A blast of cold air swept through the lobby. Conversation stopped. Everyone turned. A man stood in the doorway. Snow covered his coat, his hair, his shoulders. Anna's stomach dropped instantly. "Trevor." The room went silent. Even Emily stopped talking, which was perhaps the most shocking part. Trevor stepped inside. His eyes found Anna immediately. "Thank God." Luke's smile disappeared. Anna slowly stood. "What are you doing here?" Trevor took a step forward. "I've been looking for you." The words felt familiar. Too familiar. Like lines from a movie she'd already seen and didn't want to watch again. "You shouldn't be here. I had to talk to you." Anna folded her arms. The room around them seemed to disappear. Just the two of them, and every unanswered question she'd been carrying. Trevor shook his head. "Anna, I made a mistake." She laughed, a short, disbelieving laugh. "A mistake? I messed up. You cheated on me." His face tightened. "I know." The anger she'd been carrying for days suddenly felt smaller. Not gone, just clearer. Because standing here now, she finally saw something she hadn't before. Trevor wasn't the man she thought she loved. He was the man she'd been trying to convince herself to love. There was a difference, a huge one. Trevor stepped closer. "We can fix this." Anna looked at him for a long moment, then slowly shook her head. "No." The word surprised even her, not because she didn't mean it, because she did. Completely, for the first time. "No," she repeated. Trevor stared. "You don't mean that." Anna smiled sadly. "I do." The silence that followed felt enormous. Then Trevor looked away, and for the first time since arriving at Silver Pine Inn, Anna felt free. Truly free. Trevor nodded once, slowly, like he finally understood. Then he turned and walked back into the snow. The door closed behind him. The lobby remained silent for approximately 3 seconds. Then Emily whispered, "Well." Claire sighed. "Emily." "What?" We were all thinking it. To Anna's surprise, she laughed. The entire room seemed to breathe again. But when she turned toward Luke, she noticed something. His expression, the way he looked at her like he was happy and worried at the same time. A realization settled quietly into her chest. The hardest choice wasn't behind her. It was still ahead. Chapter 6. The Choice. The lobby slowly returned to normal after Trevor left, at least on the surface. Guests returned to their games. Emily resumed distributing baked goods. Hank reopened his newspaper. But Anna couldn't concentrate on any of it. For days, she'd imagined what she would say if she ever saw Trevor again. She had rehearsed speeches, arguments, questions. Instead, all she'd needed was one word: no. The realization felt strangely peaceful. Later that evening, Anna stepped outside onto the porch. The storm had finally passed. Fresh snow covered the grounds. Lanterns glowed along the paths between the cabins. Everything felt quiet. She wrapped her coat tighter and took a deep breath. "You okay?" "Luke." She turned. He stood near the railing with his hands in his pockets. Anna smiled. "Yeah." For once it was true. Luke nodded. "Good." Neither spoke for a moment. The silence wasn't uncomfortable anymore. It felt familiar, like something they had built together. Finally, Anna looked at him. "You thought I was going to leave with him?" It wasn't a question. Luke smiled faintly. "I tried not to." "But you did." "A little." Anna laughed softly. "Fair." Luke looked out across the snow-covered property. "He was part of your life for a long time." He was. "And I didn't want you to regret anything." The answer caught her off guard, because it wasn't jealous or possessive. It was kind, and somehow that made her like him even more. Dangerous. Very dangerous. A few minutes later, they found themselves walking along the lantern path. Neither seemed eager to head inside. Anna looked toward cabin 4, then toward the main lodge, then toward Luke. "You know what the weird part is?" "What?" "A week ago I thought my entire future was falling apart." Luke nodded. "And now?" Anna smiled. "Now I think it was trying to save me." Luke stopped walking. For a second neither of them moved. Snow drifted gently through the air. The world felt very still, very small, very perfect. Not the fake perfect she'd spent a year chasing. Something better. Real. Luke laughed softly. "You know Claire is going to be unbearable." Anna frowned. "What do you mean?" She knew. "Knew what?" Luke pointed between them. "This." Anna groaned. Of course she did. Emily knew too. Wonderful. Hank definitely knew. Anna covered her face. "I hate this place." Luke smiled. "No, you don't." Unfortunately, he was right. The next morning, the roads reopened. Guests began packing. Cars were loaded. Suitcases appeared. For the first time since arriving, Anna felt sad. Not because she was leaving, because she wasn't sure what happened next. She stood near the front desk saying goodbye to Claire. "Thank you," Claire smiled. "For what?" Anna looked around the inn, the fireplace, the Christmas tree, the people who had somehow become important. "For everything." Claire squeezed her hand. "That's what Silver Pine is for." A few minutes later, Anna carried her bag outside. Luke stood beside her car, waiting. Her heart immediately started misbehaving. Luke rubbed the back of his neck. "I've never been good at goodbyes." "Me neither." For a moment both of them laughed. Then the laughter faded. Luke looked at her. "Anna." The way he said her name made her chest tighten. "I know." "You do?" She smiled. "I do." Before she could lose her nerve, Anna stepped forward, then kissed him. Not dramatic, not movie perfect, just honest. When they finally pulled apart, both of them were smiling. "Wow," Luke said, "that's all you've got?" "I wasn't prepared." Anna laughed. "Good answer." Luke reached for her hand. "So what happens now?" Anna thought about that, then smiled. "I think we stop worrying about perfect." Luke nodded. "I like that plan." "So do I." 6 months later, guests gathered beneath the pine trees outside Silver Pine Inn. String lights glowed overhead. Music drifted through the evening air. Claire stood beside Emily. Hank wore a suit and looked deeply unhappy about it. Daniel, Sarah, and Lily sat in the front row. Lily held a basket of flower petals. Anna adjusted her dress and smiled at Luke. A different dress, a different groom, a completely different future, the right one. As the ceremony began, Claire dabbed at her eyes. Emily noticed. "You crying?" "No, you are." Claire smiled. "Maybe a little." Nearby, Hank grunted. "Took them long enough." Everyone laughed, including the bride. And this time Anna walked all the way to the end of the aisle. The end. Thank you for visiting Silver Pine Inn. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and join us for more heartwarming romances, second chances, and unforgettable guests at Silver Pine Inn. There are always new stories waiting just beyond the lantern path.